Well, never mind. I just took it out. All right, welcome back. Got a 2017 Dodge Challenger with a 3.6 liter VVT. Today we'll be changing the oil cooler for your oil filter housing. It comes with all your necessary gaskets, rubber O-rings, switches. You get an oil pressure switch, oil temperature switch, and it's a water line cooler for cooling. Change this out. We'll need to pull all this top mess off, which we're fixing to get ready to do, and start unplugging lots of wires from the throttle body. We'll start by, got an engine cover, just pull straight up on it. Got some little rubber grommets, fit down on these ball ends. Next we need to tear air intake off. Box it loose. Come over here, we got a hose clamp back here. Got it loosened up. Don't just yank all this off. You also have a rubber grommet down here at the bottom. Slowly lift up on it, come loose. Now down here on the back side, you do have another wire. So don't just yank this off and yank your wires out. Okay, we'll just move this out of the way. How do we have access to all this? We need to unplug the throttle body and all the wires, all these lines back here, before we can go to the intake. Some of these just pop straight off the flat surface it's on. You got some that's got this little red tab. That's a locking tab. Pull it out with a fingernail. We'll use a small bladed screwdriver. That one's unlocked. And pull that one loose. We got the wires loose from the throttle body, vacuum loose. Got another one. Now we pull our wiring harness out of the way. Pull your wires loose. We got a bracket back here. Get two nuts on it here. And then we got a wiring harness down low we need to pull off so we can get that bracket loose. Once we get that one loose, then we can continue with taking the intake loose. Alright, it's just that one right there slides over that stud right there. Well, we need to pull the nut off that stud. This is just holding your wiring harness so it doesn't rub up against these metal brackets and stuff and cut your wires. You hook it just right and you pull it up off her. We'll put it back on there at the end of all this. Now we have a nut down there that we need to remove. Alright, got that bracket loose. Just hanging back here now. There's another piece of the wiring harness hanging from it. It's not bothering us, not in our way now. Everything's disconnected from the throttle body. Now we can move over to the other side of the intake, which also has two nuts over there on brackets. And then we'll come back and start pulling the intake itself off. Alright, on the driver's side, we have a 10 millimeter right here, and right down from it, you have another one. If we loosen those two, release them two off there, then we start pulling the intake and working our way down. That stud on the other side, holding that bracket on there, was a 13 millimeter. I have these holding the top part of the intake down, are 8mm. There are 7 of them. Since we're hooked into the bracket over here, lift up the pressure side first and pull it out of there. Then we remove the foam pad on this side. Set it aside. Now we have access to all our coil packs and spark plugs. Start by just unplugging them. Press down on the tab. Some of them may be sticking in there good. Push it in, pull it back out. There we go. Okay, we've got all our coil packs unplugged. Next we need to unplug our injectors. So they also have the extra lock on them. Take a pick or something, pry that up, pull that up, and press the plug. We also have these plastic hold downs on here. Wiring harness holders. There we go. It's all unplugged on that side. Just swing it over out of the way. Continue with the other side. I already got the rest of the fuel injectors unplugged. We'll go much further. There is another wiring harness holder hooked onto the intake, lower intake. Go ahead and pry that out of the way while it's still, you still can. Here's your fuel line. We're not going to disconnect that. And we're going to start pulling, I believe there's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like there's 8 bolts out of the top of it. All our stuff out of the way. We're not taking the fuel line loose. We're just going to pick all this up. Push it over out of our way. Again, come back in, cover these ports. There's our oil cooler. We got 2 lines back there need to be unplugged. Oil temp and oil pressure. And we have 1 water line coming in. We'll undo the oil cooler first to lift it up out of there, and we'll disconnect those lines then. But before we do that, we need to drain some radiator fluid out. That line, as soon as we disconnect it, it's going to pour out a lot of water. We will be changing the oil after this anyhow. Alright, we need to drain our radiator down. So we can pull this water line back here off the oil cooler. To drain the radiator, I don't know if you can see it very well. Right there where the end of my tool is, there's a little valve. Turn it, you don't take it all the way out. Anyhow, you turn it counterclockwise, and there's a hose attached to it. So that hose drops down underneath. Put your catch bucket, drain pan, something underneath to catch your antifreeze. I'll try to reach down there with the camera in my hand still. Two hands, but I'm getting a small crescent wrench put on there to give myself a little bit of leverage. It's loose. Like I said, you're not taking it out. Well, never mind. I just took it out. We don't want to drain the whole thing. Alright, now we're down to our oil cooler. We have 4 E8 Torx bolts, 2 at the front, 2 at the rear. We lift that up out of there. We'll unplug these and a water line, and we'll be able to remove it. There will be one line going down into the block on this end. We have underneath, got an O-ring. All your O-rings are already on it. This line here, this tube, will be pressed in, so this one will have to be kind of wiggled back and forth to get it to release. Now we're going to undo the 4 bolts and pull it up out of there. Well, they do get pretty difficult to pull all the way out of there when all you got is 4 bolts disconnected or loosened. We got a 5th one. Found it. It's loosened up now. Should come out of here relatively easy. Here it comes. Gonna need pliers to undo the water line, get the clamp off of it. We can raise it up on out of there. Still got the other plug off. Press and pull. Now you have the hose clamp. And there's our old oil cooler, draining oil all over the place. And sure enough, there's our leaky oil. Oil cooler has been leaking out the back side of the motor. Will make you think it's a different type of leak. There's the oil. There's a couple inches of oil. Now we got to get all that out of there. Got some foam down in here too for some reason. But now we got to either soak all that up, siphon it out of there. Either way around, we need to get all that oil out of there and cleaned up before we go on with our new one. All right, what we use is a manual siphoning pump. One down in there, one line in it. That line's going to go into hold the oil jug. And in there, slowly pump it out. If you have an assistant with you, it's a whole lot easier. Alright, we've got it down about as far as we can go. Now we'll cram a bunch of paper towels down in there, soak up the rest. Alright, we got a bunch of paper towels we're going to shove down in there. Try to soak up the rest of this. Clean it up as much as we can. Alright, before we put it down in there, make sure all your surfaces are clean. All your O-rings are in place where they need to be. First thing we'll do is we'll re-plug everything back in. Make sure it seats. Make sure it's locked. Do a water line. Water line's on. Now I just need to find that sweet spot. Hose to go down in. The O-ring, there it went. Alright, tightening up the oil cooler bolts. Get your front one up here, front passenger, number 1, back driver side, number 2, front driver side, number 3, back passenger, number 4, and almost front, number 5, passenger side. We're going to 9 foot-pounds. Alright, all our lines are hooked back up, wires are hooked back up. That's torqued down. Now we're ready to move on to our surfaces and change out these O-rings, rubber gaskets. What I'm using will be an engine degreaser. Make sure you don't get nothing down in there. I'm just going to spray some on the rag to wipe those ports off. You want to make sure they're good and clean. You don't want no leaks. We get both sides cleaned up and we'll continue from there. Okay, all our ports are clean. Surfaces are clean. Now we're time to pull these old rubber gaskets, O-rings, out of there. Now I got a question for you guys. Up inside these, this part of the intake is nasty, very oily. What do you recommend for a fuel additive to help clean that out? Or would a fuel additive even do it? But anyhow, take a pick, flathead screwdriver, doesn't matter. Get down in here, pull the old one out, put our new one in. We got little ridges on them to help hold them in place, so when you flip this back upside down to put it back over here, they don't fall out. Alright, all those are in place. I'm going to set that part of the intake back on. Now when I was taking this apart, I noticed this part of the harness went to the inside of one of your valve cover bolts. So when you put it back in there, make sure it's going the same place it went before. Once you get it on there, make sure none of your harness, none of your lines, nothing's underneath it in the way. Want a good smooth fit. There's a torque sequence. As soon as I get them all the way down, we'll just alright, we got them all just snug down. Now it's time to actually torque them down. These will go down to 71 inch-pounds. The torque sequence would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There we go. Alright, now those are all torqued down. Next step, start reconnecting our wiring harness. First thing we'll do is reconnect the fuel injectors. And if you didn't break all these little hold downs, go ahead and push them in their proper spot as well. Alright, we're ready to plug in all our coil packs. They're locked in. Next step will be to put our intake back on. Alright, now we got all our coil packs plugged in. We're ready to go back to the intake, put it on, cover all that up. So we can remove these. But first we need to change out those O-rings. Same as the ones underneath. Use a pick, pull them up out of there. Put your new one down in there. Now look them over real good, make sure they're all seated down in place. Now before you go and put your throttle body and intake back on here, check this side, double check it, make sure everything is plugged in the way it's supposed to be. So we're fixing to cover that up. Now we're ready to go back on with our intake and throttle body. Tilt it up, go inward, and make sure we get those two brackets over there. All good. We're ready to start finger tightening these down. Alright, all these are just snugged up. Recommended 1/4 inch drive, socket and extension to get down into those areas that are rather tight. And now we'll torque these down to 89 inch-pounds. Can somebody tell me why are these torques different than the torques underneath it? I don't quite understand that. We have 71 inch-pounds. Now we're doing the top piece at 89 inch-pounds. Why? Why wouldn't it be the same torque? Don't understand. Yeah, the torque pattern on this one would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'll do that now. 89 is too freaking tight. That one just cracked, and that one I think just may have stripped. 89 inch-pounds is too much. Yeah, I got a crack right there. So what that means, if I have a vacuum leak, right here is where it's coming from, and I'll be looking to buy a new one. It's got rubber O-rings on there, so hopefully it'll still seal all right, but if it runs rough, we'll know why and where it's coming from. And now that we got that all torqued down, so time to start hooking up all the stuff in the back. Fun one's going to be this bracket. Pretty much working blind on it. Get your top two bolts in place, lined up, put a nut on them, but leave it loose. They're on there, but very loose. This way we have a better chance of getting this one back in place. And let's feel around. Those two are tight. Let's go to the other side and get those back on. Those are tight. This line here got small clips plugged in on the side of the ribs on the side of your intake. Hold it in place. Not going nowhere. We put the rest of our vacuum lines and our wiring harness. And then come back up and double check. Make sure you got everything plugged back in. It is no fun having to go back, take stuff apart because something wasn't plugged in. Thing looks good. Let's go back on with our air box. Here I'm telling you, make sure everything's hooked up. Don't forget nothing. You don't want to go back and have to take stuff apart because you forgot something. Anybody know where this goes? I forgot something. So the intake comes back off. This goes over here. Really don't know how important it is, but that's where it goes. All right, that screw up was fixed. Took the intake back off, put that foam pad, whatever it's for, I don't know. Put it back underneath there. Guys, 89 inch-pounds is too much. This one's pulling the threads. This one cracked. I put it back on again. I've got another one trying to pull the threads. Don't go that much. Did the same amount. The bottom part is, there's no reason to have two different ones. They're both screwed into plastic. Because now I need to go online. I need to buy a top intake, bottom intake. And the only reason if I do that is because the engine will start missing because of a vacuum leak. Hopefully that doesn't happen. All right, now that we've already changed all that stuff out, oil cooler's got a new oil cooler in there now. New oil filter in it. We had to drain some of the water out of the cooling system because that sits lower. We're going to change the oil. Add coolant as needed. This is your release valve. Release the air out of here. Loosen this up. Start adding your coolant. When the coolant starts coming out, close it back up. After you drive it for a day, let it cool back down. Loosen this back up. After you drive it for a day, come back and check your coolant level. It may have gone down some. Add if needed. If not, everything's good to go. You're done. Pretty simple job. Took a couple hours. Took me a little bit longer because I'm trying to do a video of it and have issues. Do not do the 89 inch-pounds. Or plan on going online shopping for a new intake. cracked right there. It's pulling threads. And one of these other ones is trying to pull threads also. This thing starts running rough. I don't know why. Anyhow, let's get that oil changed and finish this off. Alright, all the old oil been drained out. Hopefully anything not supposed to be in there is not in there anymore. Back up. We'll put our air box back on. Fire it up. Tilt it upward, push down on there. You have another grommet over here to kind of hold it in place. Don't forget you do have a loose wire over here. And the air box, it takes Phillips. Vacuum line out of the way. And get the air hose or vacuum line back on. Everything's hooked up what it's supposed to be. Put our engine cover back on. It's got 4 holes for these round tips around the engine. Snaps down on those. Good enough, we're done. Start it up, let's see if we got any misfire. Everything seems to be doing as it's supposed to be doing. 2017 Dodge Challenger, 3.6 liter oil cooler. It was leaking. Hopefully it's not leaking no more. Thanks for watching.